Welcome back to LarryB YouTube channel. In today's class, we're going to learn how to make this beautiful double ruched shift dress. You can see that the front has this ruch effect on the two sides of the front, and then if you turn to the back, it has inverted pleats on the back. So I'm going to be taking you through how to cut and sew this in this tutorial. It's a very simple tutorial and it's a very nice casual dress to have. If this is something you like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Thank you. So this is a kimono cut. The sleeve is cut together with the main body. I have my full gown length here. I want this to be 44 inches. So I have 44 inches here. I just left this as allowance for cutting. So this is my starting point, and then the length is 44 inches like I said. The width on fold is my shoulder measurement plus my sleeve length. My shoulder measurement is 8 inches here. That's 16 divided by 2, and then I want the sleeve to be around 8 inches as well. So you can see I have 16 inches here. So now the next thing I'm going to do is to cut the neckline. Like I said, it's cut together. So for my neckline, I'm going to use a width of 3 inches. This is the front. Okay, for the front, I don't want it to have a half cut. Yours can have a half cut if you want, but for the back, there is a kissing piece at the back. So the back, I'm going to cut it at around the waist area or below the waist area, wherever it is you want your kissing pleating, the inverted pleats at the back to start. That's why I have just the front here. I'm not cutting the front and back together. I'm just going to bring the fabric for the half length of the front of the back, and then use my front to trace it out so that it will be easier for me. So in case you are wondering why we don't have front and back together, that's why. So here I'm going to mark my neck depth. So 3 inches for the depth, and then it's going to have like a view cut as well. So I'm going to add extra 3 inches for that. So now I'm going to take my curved ruler and mark out the neckline. That's the width, and then for the depth, you can just cut it straight, or you can just make a slant fit over there. So here now we're going to move to the other side. For the shoulder slant, I'm going to come down by around 2 inches, and then with my ruler I'm going to connect that to my neck point for my shoulder slope. Okay, so after connecting it, I'm going to do my sleeve opening. So you can measure it, but that part should not be, it should not be tight, it should be loosely fitted. So I have 20 inches here. That's 10 inches if you divide it. Sorry, that's 10 inches if you divide it. So I marked the 10 inch. What I did here was to come down by 2 inches, and then I connected it to my shoulder slant. My camera did not capture that part, just like this. Okay, and then from there, from the 2 inches, I did my sleeve opening, which was 10 inches, and then I'm going to add half an inch to it for seam. That's 10.5 inches. So this part is going to double as my chest line as well. So that is where I'm going to take my bust measurement. The bust is 44 inches divided by 4 is 11. This is not a tightly fitted dress, so I'm going to add ease for 1 inch and seam allowance of 1 inch for that. Okay, so this measurement that I have here is what I'm going to maintain all down. It's a ruch gown, so I don't want it to be fitted at the waistline so that the ruch can flow very well. So the measurement that I have here is 13 inches. That is what I'm going to take all the way to the hem. So I'm going to mark the same 13 inches here, and then mark it straight down. I hope you understand. If you want your own waistline to be fitted, then it means you have to take your half length measurement, and then on that point you're going to mark your waist measurement so that you can have something fitted. So here we don't want this part to be sharp, so I'm going to get a way to make a smooth blend from my sleeve to the bodies, which is what I have here. So basically this is all you need to do. I'm just going to take my scissors now and then cut out what I have chalked. So that's the shoulder slant. Here I'm cutting my neckline. Here I'm going to just open it up to the 6 inches that I chalked there, and for the side I'm going to cut the sleeve opening, and then I'm going to cut it all the way straight down. So with this we are done with cutting the back. So like I said, cutting the front, sorry, like I said, the back is going to have a half cut because I want it to have an inverted pleat around the waist area of the back. So what I'm going to do now is just to fold another fabric, but it's going to stop around 20 inches. Okay, we're going to stop around 20 inches. So I'll use this front to cut the half part, then I'm going to show us how I'm going to increase the measurements of the lower part for it to accommodate the pleats that I want to create. So I've placed another fabric underneath it, as you can see, and I'm just holding it with this so that it doesn't shift. So these tops here, you can see I said I want it to be around 20 inches. That's why it's not all the way to the hem of the dress. So to make it easier so that I don't have to remeasure, I'm just using the measurement that I have for the front to cut it out. This is the shoulder slant. So when you get to the neckline area, you have to be mindful because the back neckline is not as low as the front neckline. So I want it to be around 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So you can see that's what I'm cutting out. It's not as low. This is what we have. This is just going to be around 1.5 to 1.25 inches. So you can see. So now I have cut the back as well. The next thing now is to cut the remaining part of the back because the back is not full yet. So now first thing to do is to measure out what I need to complete my full back. So now from here you can see, I can see the difference that I have from the front and back. So I'll place my tape here and measure down. So I have about 24 inches. So it means the fabric that I'm going to cut is going to be 24 inches in length, but bear in mind that you're going to sew them together with half an inch here and half an inch here. So I'm going to add extra 1 inch to that. So that's going to be 25 inches. Now for the width has to be bigger than what we have here because it's going to be having extra pleat, inverted pleat. So this is 26 inches. So to that 26 inches, depending on the amount of pleats that you want and how wide you want the pleat to be. If you want the pleat to be around 4 inches, then it means you had 4 inches twice for 2 pieces. That's 8 inches. If you want it to be three pleats, then you have 4 inches 3 times. That's going to give you 12 inches. I hope you understand that. So we're going to be adding that to the 26 inches that we already have for our actual waist measurement. So I'll go ahead now. If I'm adding 12 inches to 26, it means I'll have 38 inches. So I'll go ahead and cut a fabric of 38 inches width and 25 inches length. The 38 inches width is going to be obviously bigger than what I have here. So the leftover is what I'm going to pleat to create my inverted pleats at the points where I want them to be. So I'll go ahead and cut that now. So I've cut it out now. You can see this is the length. The length is 25 and the width is the waist plus the extra that I need. So you can see there is difference. This is the waist of the upper part and this is the waist of the lower part. So all this excess, about 12 inches that we have here, is what I'm going to pleat. So the next thing is to determine where you want to pleat it. I'm going to notch the center because I want one place at the center point, and then around the dart area. So I'll just mark 4 inches or 4.5 inches, and then I'm going to place a notch there as well. So that's going to be 3 pleats for me. Okay, so my pleats are going to be on these 3 parts. So I'll take it to the sewing machine now and sew it to pleat it first, so that I can complete the back also before we continue. So I've gone ahead to sew it. As you can see, I have 3 pleats there at the lower waist area. I don't want it too high, so now I'm going to iron it out later. So this is what the pleats looks like now for the back. So for the back and front, I have gone ahead to cut out my facing. The facing is just a small lining. Okay, so this is the facing for the back to turn the neckline, and this is the facing for the front as well to turn the neckline of the front. So I've cut out my facing to turn the neckline. So what we are going to do now is to work on the ruche effect that is going to be on the front. So this is the front. You need to note where the ruche is going to start from, and it's going to be stopping at the hem. So you don't need to measure that, but for the start point, you need to measure where you want it to start from. So here, I think 18 inches is fine for me, which is what you have seen me mark here. So this is going to be where my ruche is going to start from. So now to note where it is going to be on the side, you are going to try to get the midpoint of the hem, and then you're going to place a notch there. So after notching it, I'm going to open it out, and this is what it looks like. So from that point, I'm going to measure how far away I want it to be to the side. I want it to have enough space so that it can, but if it's too close to, if the ruche are so close to each other, by the time you drag it, it's not going to bounce. Okay, that's why I want it to have enough space. If I'm marking 8 inches, it means between the two of them I'll have about 16 inches, which is this, for it to just keep bouncing once I draw the ruche effect that I want to make. If you want it more, you can make it more, but I think 8 to 8.5 inches is fine for me, which is here. I hope you are following that. Okay, so the same place where it is on this side is where it is going to be on the other side as well. You can measure it out, or you can put it on fold and then mark that point for the other side as well. So you can see this distance that we have between the two is going to be from here to here, so that we can have something that drapes like this but when we gather it. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. Okay, so now from that point, now I'm going to bring it up to the 18 inches where it's going to start. Okay, you can just make it straight like this, or you can just make it come into your seam allowance, whatever you want, but I think I'm just going to leave mine straight like this, and then I'm going to mark that same point on the other side as well, so that I can have something uniform. So from the lower part, I think I have about 26 inches, so I'm going to mark that on this point as well, and then from the hem I'm going to bring it up to that point. So these are the place where I'm going to be creating the channel for the ruche effect. So for the channel, I've gone ahead to cut out this fabric. I'm doing this on the wrong side of my fabric. You can also do it on the right side if you want, but I want the channel to be on the wrong side. So the logic behind the channel is that we want to create 2 channels. So now what I'm going to do, you can see me placing it. I'm trying to make sure that this is at the center point. Okay, so here I'm going to hem it on this side, and so I'm going to hem it on the other side and so as well. So after doing that, I'm going to run a stitch at the center point such that I will have 2 channels. By the time you run a stitch, remember this is just 1 channel now. if you sew it on both sides, one big channel. So now what I'm going to do now is to divide this one big channel into two by sewing the center point, so that I'll have two channels for my rope, and then I'm going to sew it straight down. I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. So I'm gonna have to create, this is the right side, this is what it looks like on the right side. You can see I have 2 channels, and this is it on the wrong side. So you just hem it first before you create the channel by dividing. So I forgot to mention that when you want to create your channel, you need to hem this part first, because you need it to open through like this. You need to open. If you don't hem it and then you create your channel and then hem like this, it means you have blocked the channel. It won't be able to open up. So you have to hem it first before you lay the channels on it. So now the next thing now is to pass your rope. I have created my rope. You need 4 ropes for this, 2 for each side. So I'm going to go ahead now and pass the rope. So when you get to the waist area, you are going to sew it down so that it can hold it for you, so that it doesn't remove. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. When you are passing it like this and you get to the starting point here, you go ahead. I'm going to pass the other one, and then I'm going to lock it here so that it can hold it for me. So this is what it's going to look like. It's going to ruch this for you. We're going to do the same thing on this side as well, and then after that I'm going to turn the neckline with my bias, with my facing. So after turning the neckline with my facing, you just lay you do the same thing for the neckline of the front back as well. You lay the front and back on each other, then you sew it on the shoulder. You sew it on the shoulder here, and then you sew it on the side with your seam allowance. So for the back as well, you're going to hem it separately, since we have already hemmed the front, and then you sew everything all down and hem the sleeve, and that is all you need to do. So this video is already long. I'm going to go ahead now and join the shoulder, join the side, hem, and then I'll bring it back to show us what it looks like. So I'm gonna head to join the shoulder and the side seam. So you can see what we have here. You can drag your rope as much as you want, and if you want it longer than this, you can also increase the length of your dress. So you can see the 16 inches space that we have here. That's because of this drape. I want it to fall very well. That's why I made the distance between the two to be as wide as this. So this is what the front view look like, and when you turn to the back, this is what we have at the back. You can see the kissing pleat is at the lower waist area. So if you want it higher, you just work with your actual true waistline half length measurement. And you can see that I have 3 inverted pleats here. I have 1, 2, and 3 because that is how I want it. So if you want yours to be more, you add more to it. And if you don't want it to have an inverted pleat, then you can just make it a straight gown without an half length. It is not compulsory. So this is what it looks like on this side. You will see, because of the ruche effect, is lower at the back, and then it just graduates and then becomes shorter at the front. So this is what it looks like. I hope you enjoyed making this beautiful tutorial with me. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comment section. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.